to the very first episode of ET News. I am your host, Eric, and I am your assistant host, Timmy. Today we are going to be looking at a very serious problem occurring right now in the Chesapeake Bay. The declining Eastern Oyster population. To whom it may concern, there are a good number of things that are harming the life in the Chesapeake Bay, but because those oysters, those very oysters, are the root of life in the Chesapeake Bay, this episode of ET News is focused on the Eastern Oyster. In case any of you guys were wondering, there are many reasons why the Eastern Oyster is decreasing, such as overharvesting, MSX and dermo, the destruction of oyster habitats too. All of these problems lead up to the dwindling oyster population. But before we get into any of that stuff, you guys have to understand the Chesapeake Bay itself. The Chesapeake Bay is the largest estuary in the United States. An estuary, according to Google, is a partly enclosed coastal body of brackish water with one or more rivers or streams flowing into it, and with a free connection to the open sea. The Chesapeake Bay is also a watershed. A watershed is an area of land that drains into a particular river, lake, bay, or other body of water. Everyone lives in a watershed. Some watersheds, like lakes and streams, are small, but others, like the Chesapeake Bay, are larger watersheds. The Chesapeake Bay is also very important to many creatures and plants. The Chesapeake Bay, the largest estuary in the United States, is an incredibly complex ecosystem that includes important habitats and food webs. The bay and its rivers, wetlands, and forests provide homes, food, and protection for diverse groups of animals and plants. Fish of all types and sizes either live in the bay, and its tributaries year-round or visit its waters as they migrate along the east coast. Quoted from the Chesapeake Bay program. An ecosystem is a complex set of relationships among living and non-living things. Air, water, soil, sunlight, plants, and animals, including humans, make up an ecosystem. Ecosystems can be as tiny as a patch of dirt in your backyard, or as large as the entire Chesapeake Bay watershed. The Chesapeake Bay, the largest estuary in the United States, is an extremely productive and complex ecosystem. The bay ecosystem consists of the bay itself, its local rivers and streams, and all of the plants and animals it supports. Also quoted from the Chesapeake Bay program. So now we get back to what we came here for the first place. Did you know that only 1% of the oyster population from before is still around today? As said before, overharvesting, MSX and dermo, and the destruction of oyster habitats are causes of the dwindling oyster population. Right, overharvesting oysters destroys the oyster populations because, well, eating them kills them. I mean, if you can, name one thing that can still be alive when it's eaten! Right, but that is not all. MSX and dermo are oyster diseases that can kill oysters. These diseases mostly attack younger oysters, helping the cause to destroy the oysters! Did you know that Haplosporidium nelsoni was originally given the acronym MSX because it was observed as a multinucleated sphere with unknown affinity? X? What? Science geek. Okay. Furthermore, the destruction of oyster beds is very devastating to the oysters. Without oyster beds and reefs, the young, soon-to-be juvenile oysters that need something hard to attach to so that they may be able to grow and live well, won't be able to grow and live well. They will die. And if all the oysters die, then what would happen to the bay? WWHTTB. What would happen to the bay? Well, let's see. The water would be less cleaner, people wouldn't be able to taste the tasty taste of something that tastes tasty, and those same idiotic human scientists would bring an Asian clam as an assistant, which could double-cross us and become an... dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Invasive species! Or those poor clams could die the same terrible way that the Eastern Oysters did. That's right. So we need you to save the bay. We need you to stand up for those poor defenseless oysters. But most of all, we absolutely, positively need you, smart humans, to talk to those scientists of yours. And if you want to help these oysters personally, then you can build up your own oyster garden where you can raise up oysters and send them out to the ocean so that they can repopulate the bay. Why don't you build an oyster garden right now? Right now, literally. Bye! Bye!